Wow, amazing. It's even better the second time. I was at DDX, but
I changed
we'll
it.
invite you next time. We'll do it again. Any questions for Leopold? You can have more than one, and then we'll get all the speakers up here, except for Anna, who's in a busy Microsoft meeting somewhere in Seattle. Any questions for Leopold? Thoughts? Doesn't have to be a question.
Mo.
Yes, Mo.
I like this part, no? Thank you.
Thank you.
I actually have no question. I just wanted to hold the mic.
I don't like holding the mic, by the way. I want to use my hands. I couldn't.
No, I love the presentation.
Thank you.
I was in DDX, but I didn't catch this one, so I came here to check it out. And that's awesome. So what I want to ask is if, like this guy safe obviously have something very special, it's unique, so therefore it should be released. I'm glad you did that. But what if you don't have that something that is unique or you don't know what it is? What would you create or deliver to the world as a message, or you per se?
I love that. And actually, this is the essence of my whole brand, right? Like the whole brand that I try to build for myself and my whole ideas. Thank you so much for asking this. So think about it this way. One, are you a human being? Then you have something special. It's impossible. You know, and one of the things when I'm teaching some of the influence of some of the principles of influence, we talk about scarcity. You know, scarcity, like things are valuable when they are less available, right? And when I ask people what is the most scarce resource in the world, they tell me gold, they tell me time, and I tell them, no, it's you, right? There's only one more, okay? So you don't know the methodology, it doesn't mean you don't have something unique, but there's a precise methodology on how to excavate that meaning. Because if you live the life, if you dropped ketchup on your T-shirt, I promise you, then you have a story. Then you have something interesting. I swear, it could be that simple. So that's one. The second thing, which is a warning, we live in a world of what I call borrowed thinking, borrowed framework, borrowed voice. Just go on LinkedIn, and now we're all founding the same thing, right? We're all, and you go like, oh my God, this guy is a thought leader. No, he's a thought repeater. Everybody is repeating the same idea. You want to be special? Find that thing, and it doesn't have to be one thing. It can be anything. It can be many things, and just raise it to awareness and own it, and inject it in your design. By the way, so obviously I don't mean that human-centered design is meaningless or useless, but it lacks the you factor. Right? Look at all the presentation you saw today. Each one of them has a specific style. And that style is not just coming from a design style, it's coming from their soul, without them knowing. Right? Each one of us, the way we dress, the way we talk, the way we behave. You got that? Please.
Hi, Leopold. Thanks a lot for this presentation. Actually, very helpful. And first of all, it really reminded me of the conversation. If anybody has watched Project Hail Mary, it was very much like a conversation with the Rocky. So when you were seeing every time a new towel, it was like you are talking to Rocky in Project Hail Mary. But like about the innovation that this guy did, making new towels, having a conversation.
Thank you for calling it innovation, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But when you put it online, you get to know that there are many people who are doing it in other hotels also. But you recognized it, you kind of gave it the recognition through social media and all. But let's say now this idea is out. People, like let's say other housekeeping stuff, they can take up this idea. Now, kind of this innovation or the new thing would become a bare minimum after some time. How do you think self can innovate further? Let's say what are the new things that they can do? Because all these things which become very interesting, seem very interesting in the start, they become bare minimum in the long run, and sometimes even lower than bare minimum. So I just wanted to know from you, even if we are innovating on these things, someday these will become bare minimum, and how will you innovate over that?
Amazing question. Thank you. And again, I could speak for hours about it, but I'll just make it very simple. Intellectual capital is very important, but nowadays with AI, people can replicate it. So it's a conundrum. Why? One, you have to come up with an intellectual capital. You have to generate unique stories, or unique innovation, or what have you. But also, it's very fragile because anyone can replicate it. So what do? You build a system for your intellectual capital. For example, this story actually started 6-7 months ago. So I'm going to talk from my perspective because there's a whole different conversation for sales. Here's what I did. I took that story and started sharing it in my training. And then I realized that so many people are interested in it. And I go, oh, they're reacting to it. So for like 4 months, I'm always injecting it. I tried it when I'm training on public speaking, on strategy, on influence, on what have you, on public speaking. And everybody was reacting in the same way. So I built the first part. And then I took it and I wrote about it. And then I took my writing, which clarified my thinking, and I turned it into a whole speech. And then I turned it into a whole system, how I teach influence using this. And then I'm now turning it into a full package from one story, see? So now you have, and now it's going to be part of my book, which is I'm still working on. You see? So you build the system so that you can own it. You see? But even if you don't own it, at least you know between you and yourself that it's my story, it happened with me. Make sense? And few people have that drive to keep on going from one step to another to build on it. Yeah?
Amazing. Thanks again, Leopold.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please stay. We'll invite all of our speakers on stage. I think Anna's no longer with us. Any other questions for Crash, Arya, Jumana, Leopold? Chris is going to help me run around with a mic. I've got a question up there.
I guess my question is a general one. With like how AI is developing so fast, you can basically design stuff in Figma now with Claude or whatever. You're expected, like by clients, I'm seeing like a habit of like they're expecting designs at the speed of thought. So if I can churn out 100 designs, average, they don't look so bad. How do I communicate my value as a designer in this age?
Who's your question to?
That's the general question.
Who wants to take it first? Jumana?
So I'm calling it AI fever. This is happening. Yeah, like we're sitting with clients and they already vibe coded the app. They're like, it's nothing. Why don't you do it? The reality is, it depends on what you're building, how much you need to accommodate. We are accommodating. We're building full platforms in 10 days, doable. But to do it properly, you need to understand what is the core feature of that platform. So what does it really do? As long as you don't deviate from that, then you're fine. At least you get the first structure. From my point of view, the reality is the market will soon get oversaturated with things that look the same, and then value will come back. So I'm hoping that we'll ride this wave while we'll be able to kind of work faster, think faster, also learn. So if you're building 3 products for 3 different clients, you're already learning something new. So you can start adding this learning from one product to another so that your products are more unique and niche and so on. And in such situation, recyclable assets is a thing that you should consider. So if you find a really cool feature or a gimmick that works in one place, maybe you transfer it somewhere else, but you add a little bit on top of it. So that scalability mindset, just keep it, and hopefully, the wave will end pretty soon and we'll be able to design at a slower pace or at least have a different trajectory.
I think there's
Go ahead.
I think there's one thing that outpaces artificial intelligence, and that's collective intelligence. When we are in a room with multiple people solving on the crux of the problem, we have the benefits of understanding the problem or the quantitating the problem better than you can feed into an AI system. So I'd use that as as a primer layer. So you get the first set of like fast inputs from AI, and then you'd use this collective intelligence as a layer to define your design directions. So you get the best out of fast outputs and an overlay of taste, which would help you reach there faster.
Can I say something just to create some tension, and we can talk about it later?
We love your tension.
I don't. There's no such thing, properly speaking, in my opinion, as artificial intelligence. Right? Really, I mean it. Intelligence requires consciousness. It's the ability to observe reality, look into the world, infer meaning, right? Reflecting. So I want to raise that, and we can talk later about it. Just because a machine can do things and automate and what have you, it cannot do what we can, which is step back, reflect, and excavate that meaning. I don't think any machine can do that because it requires consciousness. And if you think about it this way, we stop reacting to whatever we're designing and we start reflecting. But we'll talk more about that.
Love that.
Myself and Jonathan got asked a question in an audit recently. So I just want to drop in really quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
What's going to happen in 5 years with all this AI? What's the future? What's going to happen? And this guy looked at me and he's going, expecting some questions, kind of dodge around it. I said exactly what's been happening since design began, the fundamentals. We go back to the fundamentals of what is the problem?
Yeah.
Who are we solving for? Because all these things are just tools, and this new tool has been happening since the Industrial Revolution, and they changed. When the first Photoshop came out, everybody said it was crazy. There are going to be fake images everywhere. It's going to ruin it. No one will not know it's real. And we're in the same loop again now with AI. But what differentiates a good product, whether it has AI or it doesn't have AI, is how you approach it in the first place and the fundamentals that you use to do that. If it's based in good fundamental design, then it theoretically will be a good output. And that's something that AI doesn't have. Anyway, the next question.
Chris, the proof in that is that you notice when you feed AI with all of your ideas, it takes part of your soul, right? And now you feel, it's talking more like me. And so it's the same thing. That's why that, again, excavation or doing you the work and then giving it to AI will matter most.
Hi, so my question is from Raj. So
I can't see you. Where are you?
Sorry.
It's such a big room.
So
You need my
I'm
glasses?
a designer, happen to be a marketer. I'm dealing with so many brands at a time. So I'm like you're dealing with like transitions of the brands so many times. So how do you keep your individuality with each product, not leaving same essence to the different products? Because I'm working at the same time with 7-8 products, and I'm the one giving them strategies because I was a designer, now happen to be a marketer, now have to give strategies different at the same time, keeping my individuality and sanity intact. How do you do that?
Why would you need to keep your individuality in separate projects?
No, I want to keep them separate from, I don't want to give them the same. I'm a customer's marketer,
Yeah.
So I deliver what the customer requires. Like sometimes they just need to, structure their thoughts, like she said. They have the answers and they have already the questions sorted. They just need direction, So I don't put that much effort in that. But if a new product is coming, I put my effort. But then, I realized that all of my products had few similarities. How do I keep myself away from that?
I think you naturally will. So a big transition for me when I went from being a pure designer to more of a role like that is you kind of you have a very specific way of looking at the world as a designer, right? Which is your job is to make it fun and engaging. You want to put yourself into it and make it bright and colorful and amazing. And once you scale that up, there's going to be a few different things. One, that is no longer your job, right? And I don't mean your individuality in there. I don't want to trigger Leopold right here. But I mean, you're going to have to let go a bit of that because that's your job as a designer. You now have a new job, which is to deliver those strategies that you know work. So a part of it's going to be, one, it's a bit of a challenge because you're going to get stuck into the deliver what you know works and move on because then you stop innovating. You don't want to stop innovating. but at the same time, you're gonna have to, the answers have changed, right? You're in a new environment, you're trying to achieve something new, therefore the way you used to do things is not gonna be how you do things anymore. And a part of what was difficult for me as a designer was letting go a little bit of the, if I know something works here and I put it here, am I being a poor designer? Should I reinvent everything over and over again, brand new? I mean, I used to be hardcore at not reusing any answers, but it's just impossible as you scale. So what is your individuality? It's not going to be your visual output, it's going to be your approach to how you do things. So the way you think about solving these problems and products, that's your individuality really. And that will change over time, as it should if you're growing in new parts of your career. Does that help? Is that the answer?
It's your answer, and that's what matters.
Last question.
Last question, anyone?
Yeah, because we...
No? Well, we do have more networking afterwards. You can go straight up to these fine people, these intelligent designers and leaders in the world of creativity, and ask them straight to their face.
Another huge round of applause. Thank you so much, all our speakers. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
So, last quick couple of things. We're doing this all again with 6 different people. Chris and I are going to speak. It's going to be a challenge to speak for only 10 minutes, especially for me, but also for Chris, I think. And we've got some unbelievable speakers. Eric Speakerman and Lewis from Figma are both dialing in, but the rest are all homegrown talent. We've got Dr. Elizabeth Churchill from MBZ UAE, who delivered an amazing keynote, and Julu, who's the director of tourism in Abu Dhabi, Department of Culture and Tourism. So see you all in Abu Dhabi. But before that, if you do want to have some more networking and maybe drink, beverage, alcoholic or otherwise, we're walking across, which is like 2-minute walk, 1 minute, to the Radisson Red Rooftop, which is where we did the after party at DDX. If you don't know where that is, we're all going to be kind of, those that want to, obviously that's optional. And thank you so much for coming. Thanks, everyone.